What if Steve Harrington died in the season 1 finale and never became your favorite? Early scripts say Kiri read for Jonathan, then Matt Duffer said they fell in love and rewrote Steve before season 1 aired. Today I'll show you Stranger Things cast secrets most fans missed and why one casting choice changed everything. Let's find out together right now.
I don't want to talk about it. I'll punch you so hard in your face that your teeth will fall back out.
Oh, too far.
The casting call that almost erased a fan favorite. Joe Keery originally auditioned for Jonathan Byers, according to casting records, and that tiny detail flips everything you think you know. The Duffers moved him into Steve Harrington, so one early version of the show had no Steve at all. The Stranger Things. Wiki says early scripts planned Steve's death in the season 1 finale, and the Demogorgon fight went to Lonnie, Jonathan's dad. If that draft wins, the future babysitter never grows up on screen, and Hawkins loses a big part of its heart. So why did they change it? Matt Duffer later said they fell in love with Kiri's charisma, and the writers rewrote the arc after seeing him play it. That choice turned a bully into the guy who keeps showing up, even when he looks scared. Here is the part most fans miss. Saving Steve also locks in other paths. If Lonnie takes that fight, what happens to Jonathan's story, and what does that do to Joyce's pressure? One rewrite forces another, and suddenly a whole season feels different. So when Steve feels meant to be, remember he started as an accident. And if one casting room can do that, what scene broke Millie next for her? Millie Bobby Brown said her last day felt like counting endings, and she told an interviewer it was the last coffee she would drink and the last mark she would stand on. That is not a promo line. That is a kid realizing a decade just closed. She has also said she rarely watches her own work, and Totem clips show her avoiding full rewatches of heavy moments. So when you see a teaser of her watching that scene, ask yourself, what do you avoid rewatching when it hurts? Offset, she faced online bullying as she grew up in public. In a viral message, she wrote, "I refuse to apologize for growing up." That quote matters because it explains why judgment on screen can feel personal, not pretend. Now connect the dots. 11's story asks Millie to be stared at, criticized, and pushed to the edge, while real strangers do the same thing to her face online. That double pressure can make one goodbye scene feel like two goodbyes at once. So when her voice breaks, it is not acting skill you should measure, it is cost. And beside her, Noah carried his own truth into one take too. Noah Schnapp told Netflix's Totem he studied Will's coming out speech for a month, and he called filming it totally therapeutic and cathartic. If you ever wondered why that scene feels raw, start there. By the time Stranger Things 5 aired, Noah had already come out in real life. He also explained he had never had a full, open talk with his castmates about his own coming out before that day. So the speech is doing double work, Will talking to his people on camera, Noah facing his people off camera. Then Noah added a line that clears up the stakes. He said, "I would not be where I am without that character and seeing how people reacted and received him," in a Totem interview. That proves the role shaped him over years, and it explains why the moment lands as a release, not just a plot beat. Here is a simple test for you. Watch where his eyes go and listen for the voice shake. Those choices can come from rehearsal, but they can also come from lived fear. So when Will finally speaks, it is not a random episode, it is a personal deadline. Then Gaten changed his jokes. If you're enjoying this story, give us hype for this video right now. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like so this series reaches every explorer out there. The next twist in this story is seconds away, and trust me, you'll want to be here when it drops. Gaten Matarazzo has cleidocranial dysplasia, and Season 1 wrote that real condition into Dustin's dialogue, including his missing front teeth.
I don't want to talk about it. I'll punch you so hard in your face that your teeth will fall back out.
Oh, too far.
That choice made his body part of the show's humor right away. Business Insider and production notes point out the character was shaped around Gaten's real life. Early Dustin lines use tooth jokes like a shortcut, but the real story sits behind the smile. In a Rutgers interview, Gaten explained CCD plainly. Adult teeth often emerge late or not at all.
I think that happens with a lot of people with the condition, is that your body just doesn't know that you're gonna have a set of baby teeth, they're gonna fall out, and then you're gonna have a set of adult teeth.
That sentence means long treatment, surgeries, and waiting, not just a punchline. Over time, his public tone shifted. Instead of leaning on self-roasts, he started using interviews to explain CCD, and he launched CCD Smiles to help other patients with medical costs, as reported by outlets like The Economic Times. That is a real trade, because advocacy can turn private pain into a public label, but it also turns attention into helping families. So when you notice Dustin's jokes feel less like self-burns later, it lines up with Gaten choosing a different frame off camera. Ask yourself, what is harder, laughing first or explaining the truth? So what broke Sadie on set? Her eyes told the story. Netflix's Tudum said Max's wake-up scene left no dry eye on set. When a crew full of adults cries, you know the day is heavy. Sadie Sink told Tudum, "I just felt very lucky to be in that room." Lucky sounds light, but it also means pressure, because every camera move depends on you landing the feeling. Then the Times of India reported Sadie admitted she cried so hard during her final days that she walked away with giant puffy eyes. And she felt a bit embarrassed. That detail matters because it shows the emotion stayed after the take, not just inside it. Behind-the-scenes clips from the hospital work show Caleb McLaughlin literally carrying her through the set while she stays limp as Max. That is physical strain repeated, and it takes trust because one wrong step hurts someone for real. So when you watch those scenes, ask yourself a practical question. How many takes does it take before your body starts reacting even if your mind wants to stay calm? That is the hidden cost of playing hurt for hours. Strict rules kept the kids safe, but they still bent them anyway. That small bend changed whole story paths. Behind-the-scenes specials show the young cast had curfews, on-set school, closed sets, NDAs, and safety briefings. The studio wanted control because kids on a hit show can get overwhelmed fast. Then the Duffers noticed something control could not manufacture. During the Season 1 Dungeons & Dragons table scene, they saw improvised reactions and later said the chemistry was electric, like the kids had known each other their whole lives. That observation pushed them to loosen the page because real friendship timing beats perfect lines. You can see the ripple in later group scenes. Talk overlaps, jokes land messier, and reactions feel lived in because the writers started chasing what the kids did. Producer Sean Livy gave a clear example. He said the Steve and Dustin friendship began when the writers noticed both characters were alone and heartbroken, so they paired them mid-writing. That pairing was not in the original plan, and it became a backbone for seasons after. So the follow the script rule bent, and one storyline changed shape. Ask yourself a question. If a friendship can be created by noticing two characters are lonely, what else can be rewritten the same way? Those rewrites sparked fights over how dark to go. In a Geeked Week chat, the Duffers said only Season 1 was fully mapped at the start. After that, they built the upside-down mythology as they went, so each season brought fresh debates. A loose plan has a clear upside. Writers can react to what works on screen, but the downside is brutal. Late calls decide how scary the show feels, how much violence lands, and who gets peace at the end. Those calls affect schedule, affects work, and the emotional weight actors must deliver. Winter is Coming has pointed to the Duffers explaining they expanded the mythology over time, and you can feel that shift when seasons swing between horror and teen drama. So when the mood turns darker, it can be the result of a room argument, not a random vibe. The Hollywood Reporter also quoted them saying they held some answers for the finale while bringing characters into emotional alignment right before the end. That phrase means they lined up goals and feelings so final choices would hit harder. So which scenes were written to set up that alignment, long before the finale? Exactly. That pressure leads straight into the letter that made grown adults cry. Variety reported Millie Bobby Brown brought a handwritten letter to set on her final day and broke down reading it aloud. Reports say she thanked the cast and crew for changing my life, and people in the room said that is when the ending felt real. A letter is different from a wrap photo. When you read your own words, you are not hiding behind Eleven's lines, and everyone hears the goodbye at the same time. The goodbye also happened again later, in a way fans rarely picture. Entertainment Weekly reported that in December 2025, the core cast watched the finale together at Netflix's Paris Theater. Instead of acting it out, they had to sit and watch their last scenes play in the final cut, with no redo and no cutting away. That second goodbye is a trade. Filming lets you reset between takes, but a screening locks you into one version forever, and you watch it with the people who lived it with you. So ask yourself a question. Which hurts more, saying goodbye out loud, or watching yourself do it on a screen? And once that kind of emotion settles, creators start choosing their words very carefully. Matt Duffer said that once Winona Ryder was cast as Joyce, they reshaped her into a Close Encounters-style lead and built the Christmas lights idea around her. That is a creator admission, and it shows casting can rewrite story beats. Here is why that matters for you. A performer brings a specific kind of panic, grit, and love, and writers start aiming scenes at that strength. So Joyce becomes the engine of Season 1's tension, and the lights become a tool, not just a spooky prop. They also admitted big parts of the mythology were not fixed early. In a Variety interview, the Duffers said chunks of the upside-down lore and Vecna's final form were not on paper in year 1, and clues were connected later into an origin that fits Seasons 4 and 5. That is risky because if later ideas fail, early hints look accidental. Then you get the jokes that still carry a warning. On The Tonight Show, they pushed a Steve Funko Pop off Jimmy Fallon's desk, which works as a laugh, but also signals they enjoy teasing danger around fan favorites. So which big moment was last minute? That makes the cast promise matter. Entertainment Weekly's late 2025 farewell screening recap quoted the cast publicly saying they plan to stay a family. That is a real claim on record, and it matters because growing up together on set does not guarantee staying close after work ends. One public choice backs it up. Millie made Noah the godfather of her daughter, turning a long friendship into a role with real responsibility. That is not a cute headline, it is a long-term tie. Charlie Heaton also described his last day, a rooftop scene, and said it would forever live in my memory. That quote shows the goodbye was about people, not just characters, because memories like that come from years of shared stress and trust. People.com has also reported cast talk about keeping group chats alive and showing up at each other's premieres. That sounds simple, but it has a cost, because time and travel are limited when careers explode. So here is the question for you. When actors say family, do you watch for actions or for words? Millie picking a godfather is action, and group chats are action too. If the promise holds, the sequel stays off camera, and if it breaks, you notice silence first. One cast secret is out, but the next one cuts deeper, because a single off-camera choice can erase a character you love. Click the next video on your screen now.